Hey everybody, how's it going? Marcos Villegas for Fight Hub TV, powered by Stagefront VIP, being joined with Austin Trout, Mr. No Doubt in the house. Austin, man, how are you, bro?
Marcos, I'm blessed, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Just finished up a workout, just relaxing. It's been a nice day. It's surprising how like what a sauna will do when you're in there for like 15 minutes. How it just kind of just decompresses you, man.
Yeah. I need to get in the sauna. I need some decompressing.
Well, I hope
And
everything's been good, bro.
everything's been good. Life is good.
Yeah.
Basic cable life, is good. Sleep,
uh,
get to eat. So hopefully,
I don't watch much TV, to be honest, but something that is, I believe, must see TV is a fight that's coming up. Canelo versus Jermell Charlo. It's going to be an interesting one. And the reason why I reached out to you, Austin, is you have more insight than I think anybody else in the world when it comes to these two fighters. You fought Canelo, you fought Jermell Charlo, man. Just overall in general, what do you think of the fight?
great fight. I love to see this type of matchup. I don't care about the weight class difference. There is not a size difference. Well, Jamel's the bigger guy. If you see the size difference, but it's a great fight. And when they first made the rumor that it was going to be Maul, I immediately was like, bro, that's not a good fight. Like, why you do Maul like that? That's what I'm saying. He ain't look good in his last few fights. He ain't fought in 2-3 years. And then they said it was Mel. I was like, oh, that's different. Now that's a different fight. That's a different caliber fight. Mel's looked good in his last 3 fights, and unfortunately, he has been off for a while. But Mel, from what I understand, and I'm out here in Houston, and I talked to some people that train with him. He's been in the gym. He I don't know if he's been sparring, but he's been in the gym nonstop. So I like this fight. It's a good fight. The insight I have, unfortunately, is back in 2013, 2015, 16.
Yeah, it's weird because you fought them on very different times of their career. Like you fought Canelo, I think when he was just barely entering his prime, and you fought Jermell like a little bit before the Jermell now. So it's like at different points.
Yeah, but I will say Jermell was the stronger fighter at 154 at the time, from what I understand, from what I felt and what I remember. I remember I was walking Canelo down. He called me some good shots. One shot dropped me. It was the first time I've been dropped. But even after that, I was still walking him down. I'm not saying I didn't feel it, but I wasn't scared of it. Fighting Jermell, I was never not on the back foot. I boxed the whole fight. Felt like I was outboxing plenty of rounds, but he caught me 2 times and dropped me in that fight. And I don't want to say I'm scared of his power, but I definitely was worried about it the whole fight. So with that said, at 154, at those times, Jermell was the stronger man.
Well, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I want you to kind of see if you can compare a few of their attributes and stack them against each other, and just kind of tell me your experience with those attributes. I know when you fought Canelo was at 154. Canelo's at 168. He's a lot bigger fighter now, a lot more powerful fighter now, and a lot more experience. But let's go ahead and run through the categories. In terms of footwork, who did you notice had the better footwork, and what was your experience with the footwork of both Canelo and Jermell?
Well, so Canelo had surprisingly better footwork than I was ready for. And Jermell, it was just a different fight. I was moving and going, and Canelo was moving when I fought him. So with that comparison, I'd say Canelo had the better footwork in the fight. I do think overall, Jermell, I believe he does have the better footwork though, overall.
Why do you feel that way? Is there something that sticks out?
But I'm just saying now.
Yeah, like now, like from what you've seen.
Jermell can move and punch. I don't think Canelo has to still stay, get set to throw his shots for the most part. So, that's why. And I'm saying now, the development. But Canelo's footwork has gotten much better since we fought. So I'm not negating that fact.
Yeah, that's always been like a big thing of Canelo. He's not the fastest guy. He's not a guy that uses lateral movement, goes in and out like a Manny Pacquiao or anything like that.
Right.
He has to have a wide base to be able
Yeah,
to get his weight behind his punches.
correct. And that's still true to this day. Even though he has gotten better, he still needs that wide base to get his shots out, especially that hook to the body or that left hook, period.
Mm. When you look at defense, what can you tell me? Who do you think has the better defense between the two, and what do you remember from both of them defense wise?
Actually, Canelo had pretty good defense. And I'm gonna give him the edge on the defense side. He's not a very defensive fighter, but he did have good defense when head movement and things like that. Charlo, he was more of just kind of come and try to mow you down, take a step back, come back and try to mow you down. And so really my offense wasn't uh too wasn't on the front street for that fight. Like I said, I was on the back foot for that fight.
So you would say between the two, Canelo has a better defense in your opinion?
Correct.
Yeah. Did you ever see the memes that came from Canelo's defense where the little sunglasses like fall on him?
Yeah.
You rolled your eyes. You hate that meme.
Thanks, Marco.
Oh, I'm sorry, bro. I just
You're not. It's cool.
Well, moving on. In terms of power, man, like I mentioned, you fought a 154
That
Canelo.
154.
Yeah, but you know what? A puncher's a puncher. He's always been a puncher.
Sure. And he was strong, but I was never worried about Canelo's power like I was worried about Jermell's.
Mm.
And that's a fact. Not saying that I shouldn't have been, because Canelo did drop me and he buzzed me in plenty of those rounds. But I don't believe I could have taken as many clean shots from Jermell as I did from Canelo.
In terms of the 168 Canelo now, like, would you still give him the edge power wise just because he's bigger and he's fought bigger guys and he's dropped bigger guys?
So I mean, physics, kind of, it's hard to argue with physics, but physically speaking, Jermell's a big dude. I don't know how he ever made 154. And this is why it's such an interesting fight, because really all the question marks that surround it. Jermell is a big dude, bigger than Canelo naturally. I don't know how he made 154, but he don't have to make 154 now. He gets to be a big dude. You know what I mean? Now, how is that going to play out? We don't know. We never seen it. Question mark. Also, Canelo hasn't looked good in the last few fights, power or not. Right? If he can't get his shots off and that amazing timing that he has, if he ain't got it, those shots ain't gonna matter. So that's another question mark. Jermell's inactivity, right, is the other question mark. But as far as for his size, I think, and I don't know, I can't put my bank on it. I'm gonna say Canelo's gonna be the stronger dude, but I think Jermell's gonna shock Canelo with how strong he is. That's a big dude, and he knows he's athletic. You know what I mean? He's a football player before boxing.
How would you describe Jermell's power, like taking his punches when you fought him?
It's explosive, strong body, and strong hands, heavy handed. You know what I mean? Fast, right? He got good speed.
And on the flip, like, I know it was a smaller Canelo, but was his power like similar, like a thudding type power?
It was, but and he's very explosive too. Except he'll explode maybe 2 shots, 3 shots. Jermell's 4, 5, 6 shot explosive type fight. So I think if he can hurt, or not even hurt him, if Mel can give Canelo's respect, I think he can pull it off, man.
Oh wow, yeah.
He's got to go to the body. It's got to go to the body. That's the only place where Canelo may be vulnerable for real.
You kind of alluded to it, and I was going to get to it, but just because you brought it up, a lot of people have said, yeah, Canelo's on the decline. You know, these last three performances, Bivol, Golovkin, Ryder, he hasn't looked spectacular. He took a loss against Bivol. Golovkin, many felt like, hey, like Triple G was there to be stopped, and he didn't. Ryder, you know, a guy caliber of Ryder, a guy caliber of Canelo should have taken him out, and a Ryder shouldn't have been able to go 12 rounds. Do you feel that he's kind of declining a little bit, or it's just he had injuries? It's a bad night, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's fair to say that he's declining. I think maybe it's just some bad nights. You know what I mean? I'm not saying this is affecting him, but it could be. He's had rocky promotional. Um, he hasn't found a home. You know, I know he's doing a lot of things himself, but you know, he had that situation with De La Hoya that was right around maybe the third Triple G fight. You know what I mean? And then he was with DAZN for a little bit. And then, you know, now he's with PBC. You know, those the not knowing is hard. And even though he's doing this thing and he's taking things in his own hands, he don't need nobody. He just needs the TV. But you know, that could be a part of it too. Maybe if this 3-fight deal, you know, could settle him down and he gets back to old Canelo. Feels good about himself. I don't know. I think it's too close to tell. But if he is on the decline, then again, Jermell can pull this off.
Yeah, there's like you mentioned, a lot of questions here that I think are going to be answered, and I think that's the main one. We're going to see if it is really he's declining. If he goes life, I don't know. Like if he goes life and death with Canelo, like I don't know. I think that says more to like how good Jermell is, honestly. You know.
Facts. Instead of saying that Canelo is, because Jermell is good, he's a unified champ.
Yeah.
At 154, in a weight class he does not belong in. But he made that weight and he did his thing. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what he does. I think it's going to be a good fight.
All right. You mentioned, you know, Jermell's fast, but in terms of speed, who do you feel had the better speed in there?
Yeah, I think Jermell was slightly edge on the speed. Definitely. Because that was me on my back foot. You know, Canelo caught me while I was coming forward. I'm not a, you know, very come forward fighter. Jermell was able to catch me as I'm in my element. So I give Jermell he got the edge on speed for sure.
Is it just like overall, like athletic speed? Is it the hand speed, the foot speed? Like what was it?
But overall athleticism. Again, there's times that he, you know, and I made him miss a lot too. But I thought I had to escape, stepped around. He was already stepped around with me. You know what I mean? It was a good fight, and I was impressed by Jermell a lot and his ability.
Punch resistance.
Canelo. I mean, not that we've ever seen Jermell really hurt. I think maybe Castano hurt, buzzed him maybe. But we've never really seen Canelo hurt. I think Miguel Cotto's little brother buzzed him early on before, but
that was 19-year-old Canelo.
Yeah. I mean, he took solid shots from Triple G. We'll give that to Canelo.
Yeah, he took solid shots from Bivol, man. Shoot. I was surprised there, but yeah, you know, he has a chin. And yeah, you know, you're right. Castano at 54, that first fight, there was a few shots where you're like, oh dang, like, I think that stunned him. But then that gets me thinking, man. Like, look, okay, he takes a punch from a 54 Castano. He takes a punch like that from a 68 Canelo. What's gonna happen, you know?
Yeah, but you know, Castano's strong too, though. I'm not saying he's necessarily stronger than Canelo, but he's, you know, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's a lot of factors because, well, to the weight, you know, like if you're not cutting as much and you're at your normal weight where you're not dehydrated as much and you don't have that window where you're rapidly putting up weight and water, you should be able to take punishment a lot better.
Yeah. Exactly. He'll have more to sit down on.
Yeah.
As far as taking them shots.
Shit, man, this is looking like it's a 50-50 fight at this point.
It's a 50-50. I'm telling you, man. I'm pulling for Charlo because
Yeah.
America.
Austin, conditioning wise, what would you say there? Who has the better conditioning between the two?
They both stay in the gym. Canelo stays in shape. Mel stays in shape, especially now. Mel's been taking this game a lot more serious from what I understand. They're both going to come in great shape. And, we fans deserve that at least come in good shape players.
Yeah, that's been a big question for Canelo. I know for a time it was a known thing that he gets tired in the middle rounds and then he kind of makes it back up in the last 2 rounds. And then, he hasn't had that problem as much up until the last 2 fights with Golovkin and John Ryder. Though I heard that's the reason why they're in Tahoe now, is to kind of curb that problem.
It sounds like he knew that problem was a problem too. He's working to fix it.
Yeah, a lot of people feel that that's the big key in this fight is the conditioning.
Yeah. Well, again, like I said, I know Mel's been working. It's probably been the longest camp of his life, but it's been like a 17-month camp. I know, and whatever's needed to be dialed in, hopefully it's dialed in by now because it's what damn near fight week.
Yeah, it's close to the fight. That is for sure. In terms of ring IQ, Austin, who was the smarter guy in there? Who was the sneakier guy in there?
Canelo.
Yeah.
At that time. And they've both gotten smarter since that time that I fought him. Canelo, Canelo's gotten, since the Mayweather fight, Canelo's ring IQ's jumped up, a lot. And Charlo too, the Tony Harrison fight, he learned a lot. And he came back and implemented a lot of things to his game. So at the time, I say Canelo. Now I don't know. We're gonna find out.
What stuck out to you the most from both of them in terms of their ring IQ?
Canelo just knew when to throw his shots. You know what I mean? And it was right, like off of good timing. Yeah, he knew to place good traps. The shot he dropped me with, he threw a jab way off, from my head just to make my head run right into the right hand. And that was real good for Mel. He set decent traps. Like for one, he knew he had good body strength, so he would, kind of bump you off balance and then hit you us off balance, which I feel like is a very vet move, something like Hopkins would do. You know what I mean?
You mean Canelo would do that, or Mel?
No, Mel. Mel would do that.
So Canelo was the one where he threw the jab far off and then he caught you.
Correct, with the shot right in.
Yeah.
But Mel was the type that would knock you off balance and then hit you as you're off balance. So they both get some cool tricks.
Yeah. Huh. Out of the two, which one frustrated you the most?
Canelo.
But
it was a lot of shit that was surrounding that frustrated me as well.
Like what?
Well, and I hate to be a broken record, that open score. And from the first 4 rounds, it was just night and day to the rest of the fight. And where I was able to box in this, that, third. And then after the scoring changed, he started boxing and I started trying to progress. But that was a frustrating situation.
True. In terms of experience, Austin, I would think this is kind of, if you're a fan in the know, you would think, oh, okay, one over the other. But who holds the experience in this fight, the experience edge, Canelo or Jermell?
I would say Canelo because of his experience of being just, a high, like this is a big fight. This is not new to Canelo. Canelo equals big fights. So he's definitely got the experience on big fights. Charlo's been in big fights, but none to the caliber of Canelo. And like I said, every time Canelo fights, it's a Canelo caliber big fight. So yeah, the experience is going to go to Canelo, but the hunger, I think, is going to go to Mel.
Yeah, and Canelo has what Mel wants, and it's not like a financial thing. I think it's more like respect.
Exactly.
People,
Canelo's had it for a long time, and Mel's waited so long to get the respect he felt he deserved, and for so long he was looked at as the little brother, not as good, and this, that, and the third. I know that shit killed him because he worked hard for it. And whereas, from what I understand, Maul doesn't love boxing like Mel does. So this has gone from the womb to now. I think that hunger is in Mel's favor.
Danny Garcia mentioned an interesting thing.
Fighting me? He's trying to fight
no,
me?
no.
Let's go. Come on, Danny.
No, he is looking for fights at 160, but he was talking about fighting Islandi Lara. But he did mention an interesting thing with fighting Canelo, because he fought on the Canelo Mayweather card as the co-main event, and he said, like, dude, the event of fighting a Canelo, like, it messes with your mind because you got all this stuff going on, all this pressure. The stage is set for him to beat you. Everything's going up against you like that. That for a lot of people, they can't handle that mentally. Like, well, what should Mel expect that fight week and that night?
Yeah, just a lot of energy coming his way. That's negative. Danny called it. It's them Canelo fans. They're very vicious. You know what I mean, and disrespectful. So he's got to be ready for all that. And we know Mel's peoples. You get in fights everywhere they go. So this is gonna be an interesting fight week.
Yeah, let's see. Hey, there's a lot of subplots going. Austin, Crawford might show up.
Oh,
Shoot.
causing trouble. I hope he does.
Tim Tszyu might show up. Keith Thurman might show up.
Tim
Like,
Tszyu is crazy.
There's a lot of subplots. A lot of people being like, "Yo, dude, where's me?
Where's
like,
my fight?"
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Given that you said it's 50-50, but you're rooting for Charlo. But taking that aside, Austin, when you look at on paper, who should have the advantage or who should win this fight?
On paper, Canelo should win the fight, but there's so much unknowns with Charlo that I think if everything lines up right, he could take it, man. And I'm picking him for the upset. Will he get would he get a close decision that he deserves? Is another question mark. It's on a PPC card.
It's in Vegas. That's always been a thing with Canelo.
In Vegas. That's a home turf advantage for Canelo.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Like, it's throughout his career, it's always been said, like, you can't win a close fight against Canelo, but he did lose against Bivol. But there was one crazy scorecard where you're just kind of like, what the hell? And then
it wasn't a close fight.
Don't even bring up the Mayweather draw card that was on that one.